My name is Giani Russo, a.k.a. Carlo, the infamous son-in-law from The Godfather. I'm now known as the Hollywood Godfather, and this is my story.
Before all of the wins in my portfolio, I was a little boy diagnosed with polio. Experimenting with cures, I tried every one. Felt everything in my right, but my left was numb. Walking with a limp, like will I ever run? Once again, or is this it? Am I forever done? Living in the hospital was never fun. Some people were cool, but not everyone.
Welcome, everybody. It's time for another Hollywood Godfather podcast. And tonight, well, let me introduce Giani first. Giani Raymond, my co-host, fortunately, as most of you know by now, we all met. Finally, we did a show live from...
That's right.
Well, we were all over the place. We were.
I know. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. So fun meeting you and Julia in person, and we had a ball.
No, it's perfect. Thank you. And tonight's show, we were going to dedicate it to a couple of Italian Americans because October is Italian Heritage Month, and this is the last week of the month. And I was going to, talk about a couple of people, and both of us agree, Giani and I, that the one guy that stood out far even more than Al Pacino, I met Al Pacino and Bobby Darin in 1971. And as we got into his history, I met him in 1971. I met Pacino in 1971, obviously the rehearsal of The Godfather. But and Giani and I spoke before we got on camera. This man basically had an estimate of time of when he was going to die. And he made a decision. He knew what he wanted to do, and he left college and he pursued his dream.
Yeah. It's incredible. I mean, I read as a child he had rheumatic fever, and so he had a bad heart. So all along, he would tell people, I've got to do what I need to get done because I'm only going to live till 25 years old. And I thought, boy, if we had that kind of idea, you wonder how many people would be like, hey, I got stuff to do.
But see, you know what I got out of it? Because you know my story and most of our audience does. That's what my life was about. Because when I got out of the hospital, I don't know how long I was going to last. I was still, had a lot of residual from polio, and they told me you got to be careful, your immune system is low. But when I started listening to this guy and what he accomplished,
yeah.
I mean, most people don't realize he was. We're talking about Bobby Darin again, and he became a songwriter first, and he wrote hits.
Oh yeah,
people, Connie Francis, everybody. And then he realized he could sing and wanted to sing. And even in his analogy of the record business and the people he dealt with, he realized the mob was in control of the record business. Do you know he found the only record company that was founded by non-mobsters?
Oh, you're kidding.
No, Atlantic Records, that the label who first signed him, was founded by two fans of that rockabilly music, that rock and roll and hillbilly music. And he went to them, and he had tremendous amount of hits already. And then he started singing that music because he dedicated his career to Elvis and all of those people that were involved in it. And then as his music got more recognition, he moved on and signed with Capitol Records. And that's when he changed his style also. But I don't want to get too far ahead of all that. But here's a guy who never knew who his father was. His mother was a player. I don't know if you know that or you read that anywhere, but.
Well, I did read, and I know people always comment if we get facts a little bit wrong or if we misspeak from time to time, but I read, I think it was, I can't remember the age now, but he was older when he found out his mother, he grew up thinking his sister was his sister, but was really his mother.
Right.
So, I mean, that'll mess a kid up, you know?
Well, yeah. And the other thing is that who his biological father is, which is insane what I'm about to say, but I've said it so many times. I knew him.
You knew his
Tony Grillo. Tony Grillo is his real father. And they didn't find that out until they did an autopsy on his body of the DNA. And the guy that the mother said was his father, he never found out wasn't his father until after they died.
My
And
God.
well, the mother was a part of the groupies that used to go to the Copacabana. Because she was living in Harlem at the time as a single mother.
Wow.
And so was Pacino with his father, Sal. And that's how I started all this thing about, Italian American. But as we're talking about it, and you get into this man's life, it's insanity. The man made 13 motion pictures in 15 years.
Right.
I
It's
mean,
crazy. Well, his big hit, from what I was looking at, now I was young back then. Somebody had commented, "Don't I know how Princess Grace died?" And I'm like, I was 15 years old. I wasn't paying attention to those things. You got to understand that that's not. There wasn't Instagram. There wasn't 24-hour news cycles, and I wasn't staying up to watch the news. I did
Right.
used to watch a lot of what do they call that? What's the beginning of Johnny Carson called? I did see a lot of that when Johnny Carson was coming on, but I didn't see a lot of this stuff. But I know what a big deal this guy was, and his song is Jack the Knife. Sorry,
Yeah.
what a
Mac the
beautiful
Knife.
voice.
Mac the Knife. Mac the Knife.
Mack the Knife. Sorry, yeah. Well, see, I'm young, but I do know the song. What I did see as I was doing some research on him, there is a video of him. It says Bobby Darin versus Michael Bublé, and that was his favorite growing up. And he sings it, and then Bublé sings it, and they show all these videos of both of them. It's on YouTube, and it's fantastic. So great.
Let me ask you a question. Michael Bublé wasn't the same age group.
No. He
Oh.
just did like the video of Darin and then did a video of him. And it's really great. It's something, look it up. I'll send it to you I'll text it to you because it's really great to hear that Michael Bublé, I don't know how old he is. I mean, I don't know
But
how old he is, but
you
that
don't
was
need to send me Michael Bublé at all. I don't like the guy.
well, you can't help but like this video because it's got Bobby Darin and Bublé and it's
See,
a tribute to him.
Bublé had two close friends of mine,
Oh yeah.
David Forrester
Yeah.
and Paul Anka.
Oh wow.
And they backed him, supported him, and he signed a deal with them. And when the deal was up and 2 years later and he was a star, he wouldn't sign back with them.
Oh geez.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
he's not a fan of mine.
Right. Well, you know me, I'm a country girl for the most part, but I saw that today and it was quite a tribute to Bobby Darin. So
Oh, yeah. I mean, Bobby Darin, again, that's why I really wanted to spend this 40, 50 minutes on the man.
Right.
Who knows about him. And our audience, fortunately, you have a mixed bag,
Right.
young and old. But his accolades are unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, to do 13 motion pictures. And what's even more, I don't know if you know this or the audience knows it, the 13 motion pictures, he wrote the music and scored the whole movies. I mean, this guy is like all over the place.
Wow.
And, and two of the heartthrobs of that time, one was Connie Francis, obviously.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
And the other one was Sandra Dee. And he got to know her later on. You know, he married her.
Sandra Dee?
He married Sandra Dee. They have a son.
Oh, wow.
Bobby has a son, and in fact, his son was celebrating his 12th birthday
Oh, that's right.
when he died. He died on, my memory serves me right, he died December 20th,
Right.
and it was his son's 12th birthday. But I kept seeing all these things, because I'm December 12th and 12s, and oh,
Yeah, I saw that too. That's exactly what I thought was the boy was 12, but yeah, that's crazy. Well, I know you say you married Sandra Dee, but Connie Francis said he's the one that got away. She was so in love with him. And
oh, I
she
know,
said,
but I mean, I don't know because we're doing this through research. I don't know why, because it's, unfortunately, and Connie Francis is still alive. She's living down in Florida. I know her. She's gone through some really bad marriages,
oh,
really bad. In fact, the one guy I knew very well, Izzy Marion, is one of the last guys she married, and he abused her to death.
ah,
But she's that type of a woman. I mean, I don't know her that well. I've been to her house and all that, but I never got involved with her romance and all that. But in
yeah.
doing the research we've all been doing to get the show together, but Sandra Dee was with him until he died.
Oh, really?
Oh no, yeah, she just died. I think she died in 2005.
Oh, wow.
But to get back to, here's a guy when he realized he had a heart murmur, and they couldn't do nothing about it at that time. I mean, today he'd be alive yet,
Oh,
fortunately, with what they know. But to make that decision and say, I want to get this done, and what he achieved, people don't do all their lifetime in a career.
right. And how he helped other people. That's
Oh my
that's
God, yeah. No.
that's the thing I thought was amazing what he had done. And I don't know if you want to jump into that as of yet, but boy, how he helped build some careers of people that are still going strong is amazing.
Oh no. But you know what? One thing that will not divulge anything we're doing next coming up, but the one thing that really impressed me, he had no funeral.
Oh, wow.
Do you know why?
No.
He dedicated his complete body
Oh,
to
wow.
science research. So there
Oh,
was no funeral. He wanted to, even at death, he wanted to give back
wow.
the medical field to help other people.
It's amazing what that does for people,
Oh
and,
no.
and especially people that have some serious things wrong with them. I'm sure if I could give my body, it's nothing spectacular, but somebody that has like
Now
issues,
wait a minute. Now hold it. Oh, wait a minute.
you know what I mean? No, but I mean I don't have any rare disease or anything like that, where it
Right,
would
right.
help
No,
help
I understand what you're
down
saying. I'm
the
only kidding you. But
yeah, no, I know.
no, it's a situation where that's how I got involved with all the experiments I'm doing
Oh,
because of my polio days.
right.
I want, if I can help science find a reason or cause or whatever, which we already have some, but I have some residuals that I'm at New York Presbyterian working with those doctors because of it. But
Right.
there was so many things that really impressed me about Bobby Darin. And then to read, I mean, I made 46 motion pictures. This man made 13 in 15 years.
He was incredible. It's so fun to watch. The one thing I've noticed, I was watching him sing, and to look at him come out, everyone's got suits on, they look so nice. And I've gone to concerts where people come, they look like they've been mowing the lawn. That's the one thing I like about those
Well,
things.
yeah, during those days, I met him when he was headlining at the Desert Inn Hotel. And in the late 60s, early 70s, when he arrived, that's when Howard Hughes was taking over. And
Oh,
the entertainment director for the whole Hughes organization was a guy called Walter Kane. Now, Walter Kane, when Howard Hughes had all the movie studios and was involved in motion pictures, Walter Kane was always there. Now, Walter Kane today, in this lifestyle, would be an ordinary guy. But during those days, he was bisexual.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not so unusual now. Hard to
Yeah,
find a
not
straight
now.
guy
I
out
mean,
there
but
now.
during those days, and they made him entertainment director. And Bobby Darin was so astute of finding talent that if Bobby Darin didn't find Wayne Newton with a group called Newton, Amato, and Newton, there was a threesome.
Really?
It was his brother, Tommy Amato, and Wayne Newton. And then years later, when Wayne made it and they didn't, Tommy went on and did what he did. And Wayne made his brother his manager.
Oh, wow.
And unfortunately, out of jealousy, his
Uh-oh.
brother robbed or embezzled $3 million from him. I mean,
That's terrible.
this kind of stuff you can't even make up.
That's exactly right. Well, I'll just tell you a quick little bit of trivia that I heard today, and it was Wayne Newton himself being interviewed, and he said he was singing at like a side lounge at the Copacabana, and Bobby Darin came in.
Right.
And offered and said, I want to give you this song, and it's going to be a big hit. And it was Dankeschön. And he
Yeah,
said,
Dankeschön.
yeah,
that
it
was his
was
big hit.
big hit. And Bobby Darin just said, here, you take it. I mean, Wayne Newton, holy cow. But he says that's what changed his
That's
life.
what launched his career.
Yep. All right. Should we do a quick commercial?
Please.
All right. Take it away.
Well, I want to do a commercial selfishly on November 15th. I'm going to be at the starting gate at the Great Horse, and it's in Maine. But in fact, I'm going to even give you the phone number because anybody that's listening, it's only a few weeks away. The phone number for the place is 413-566-8010. And why I would really like you to go and ask for Michelle, her extension is 4102. But I am launching a new show that I wrote based on my book, and I'm dedicating it to Frank Sinatra and his life and what he meant to me. And that's one of the first nights I'm doing it. And again, it's in Maine. And get the information, call Michelle, make a reservation, and I guarantee you, you've never seen even the film clips. Giani, what I found in this, I take you chronologically in my life with film clips. So when I talk about Sinatra and I get my transistor radio, I take you to the Paramount on 42nd Street and bring you from my hospital bed to him on stage singing.
Holy cow.
But even like when I talk about Marilyn Monroe and Some Like It Hot, I bought the footage and she's singing, I Want to Make Love to You. So it's not just me singing. I have a collage of great performers. You'll never hear them or see them again. But that's what I put the show together with.
November 15th?
November 15th
Is it called
the
the
starting
gate?
Starting gate.
Is that
it's called the Starting Gate at Great Horse.
at Great Horse?
The country club.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, we're back.
So you started talking about Walter Kane?
Walter Kane was the entertainment director. He always was with Howard Hughes. Nobody questioned that because Howard was nuts to begin with. And when he started buying up all the hotels, he became the entertainment director. So he actually became a part of Wayne Newton's discovery, because Wayne Newton was downtown at the Binion's Horseshoe down on Fremont
Fremont.
Street. And they brought him up and made him a headliner at the Sands Hotel. And that all had to do with Duncan Shane, Walter Kane. Now he's a headliner up the block from, because they own both of those hotels. Talk about ironic, because Bobby Darin's headlining the Desert Inn and Wayne Newton's headlining the Sands Hotel. And that would have never happened other than Bobby Darin. It's crazy.
That
Those
is crazy.
parallels and crisscrossed. It's amazing to me.
Well, that's crazy. Yeah, it just is amazing to think he's such a big part of Las Vegas, and even it's neat to see someone like Wayne Newton, and that was a fairly recent video, and he's still giving thanks to Bobby Darin, which I thought was fantastic. Talking about how he got there, and he's still going strong. That Wayne Newton, he's gonna keep on kicking forever. That's awesome.
Well, I know Wayne many years, but he like Sinatra was. But the difference between Wayne could go home. He don't need to retire. His last wife he married is a lawyer. She manages him, and she controls some of his money. Because a lot of people don't know that Wayne went broke so many times.
Oh,
Whatever he made, he spent.
right.
And then he started collecting Arabian horses, which is $1 million a horse. And
Yeah.
you got to feed them, and you're
I know
not
the
making
horse
any money.
business.
What are you doing?
Yeah. That's a very expensive hobby. Someone
Yeah.
one time said, "How come you have horses?" And I said, "Well, why do you have a dog?" Because I like them. But that's a very expensive hobby. And
That's a
we
good
never-
comparison.
Yeah. Well, they're awfully nice. I do like them a lot, but right now I have neither. But yeah, what did he do with the horses? He had those horses in Las Vegas?
Oh my God, yeah. His house was called the Ponderosa from the television show.
Right.
He's still in the house, to my knowledge, but now he's doing a lot of shows by tracks only. He went from 50 musicians on stage, because Vegas really is not, unless you're a up and coming and hot current star, they don't have the Wayne Newtons on stage anymore, giving them big money.
Right.
Not doing it. So all of these now, they call residencies, and you stay for 3 or 4 months.
Right.
I don't think Wayne Newton now could maintain a showroom
Oh,
of 1,000 seats
right.
7 nights a week, or 6 nights a week. So
Right.
that's the other big problem.
Right.
Anyway,
Well, speaking of residencies, I know Cher was there forever. And I do have to say, one more reason I'm really mad about COVID is I had tickets to go see Cher. And not in Vegas, but here in, I don't know, I guess she's in Salt Lake. And then COVID hit, so I didn't get to go see Cher. I don't know if she's ever going to be singing again, but yeah, those residencies are certainly what's taken over in Las Vegas nowadays.
well, yeah, because of the fact, they moved down there for a year or two.
Right.
Make a lot of money. I mean, it's crazy. But what are some of the highlights that impressed you with the research you did on Bobby?
Well, what I did think was quite sweet, and I don't know how Bobby felt about Connie Francis, but I do know that she said she was head over heels for him, and that her dad came after him with a gun.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
Her father was her manager.
Yeah.
And he thought that Bobby was going to try to take basically his livelihood away.
Right.
If he married,
Oh,
that's what it was about. I know that whole scene. That's crazy.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, so that's what she said. She said she was so worried about his heart that she just tried to stay away from him. But the one thing I thought was so sweet, she said they wrote love letters to keep in touch, to kind of keep it under wraps. And that when he passed away, his brother got all of his stuff. And so in 2016, his brother started selling off some of the memorabilia and had a bunch of those love letters that she had written to Bobby Darin. And so she said, I don't remember where it said that it was being sold, but she said she told her secretary, I don't care what it costs. I want those love letters that I sent to him. You get on there and bid. And inevitably, she didn't win the bid. And some lady in Virginia won. So she contacted the lady, and she said the lady was so sweet and gave them to her. And so she had those. Isn't that's so precious?
That's a great story.
I loved it. She said, I have all of my original love letters to him now. And I just thought that was so sweet.
Did they disclose that I think 4 of the love letters he wrote songs about? And they were hits.
Wow.
And they were hits. In fact, one of them is called Love Letters.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's what I find him so fascinated, because, he touched on so many. I mean, when you could think that every movie he wrote the music for and scored the orchestra. So he must have had a tremendous mind for music to begin with.
Right.
Because, to score a movie, that's a major undertaking. And you don't find anybody that I know just being a singer or a songwriter doing that. So, I mean, the guy, I mean, unfortunately, and fortunately for us, knowing his demise, knowing his condition, he energized himself rather than succumbing to it and getting for me and go into a cave, which, so many people do once they know they're diagnosed with something.
Right.
And him being raised by his mother, besides, I'm shocked that his mother didn't just cuddle him and want to keep him to herself.
Right. Yeah, you could only imagine. Yeah, I love those stories where there are people that are, they know they're not long for this life, but they make the most of it,
I can only imagine what his legacy is, because all those songs, that library of Bobby Darin's got to be worth a fortune.
Oh, I'm sure.
I hope his son is probably still alive, obviously.
Yeah.
He was only 12 in 73 when his father died. So
yeah, that's wild. Did you ever know if he had any musical talent?
I knew nothing about him until I did the research. Sandra Dee and him kept him a secret.
Oh, really?
I didn't know they had a child.
Wow.
I don't know anybody that heard about it even. Because when they broke up, I don't know how that was. Because again, it wasn't the time of social media where it was tested on everything. And Sandra Dee, she died 205, if my memory serves me right. So I don't even know what happened to her.
Yeah.
Did she remarry? Who raised the son? There's a lot of unknowns there.
Right.
But, it's that's why I think, with the contribution he made just in music and supporting so many of other talents like a Wayne Newton.
Right.
I don't know if Wayne Newton didn't have Dunkashane, would he have a career?
Right. No, was he around during the Rat Pack time? Were they friendly? Do you know?
Oh, no, yeah. No, but Wayne Newton was a staple at the Sands Hotel.
No, I meant Bobby Darin.
No, Bob, of course. Frank thought he was a great talent.
That's awesome.
I mean, no, they knew him, and they all knew of his condition also. He closed the show at the Desert Inn. I was there. I used to go to every show he went to. I used to go see him every night. If Sinatra wasn't in town, I'd go see him. Because like you pointed out, dressed impeccable, a
Oh yeah,
gentleman of gentlemen, and the songs that he wrote and performed. I mean, they are American staples as far as music goes.
sure.
And I remember when he left the Desert Inn Hotel and went to Los Angeles to have his open heart surgery, and he never recovered.
Oh really?
That's what
Eh,
happened to him.
was he 37, I think is what I
37 when he died. Yep.
wow. That's so young.
No kidding.
That's one of my son's age. Yeah.
But imagine if he started at 20, he accomplished all this in 17 years.
Short order. Yeah. He made it, got right to it.
Yeah.
That's wild. So you said it's the end of Italian Heritage Month.
Right.
So, is there a lot of stuff going on where you live or anything like that?
Oh yeah, well you saw my stuff on the Columbus Day Parade, and then I got the Caruso Award. They do that all in October for that reason.
I'll
So
tell you, that Italian food we had I don't know even know where we were. What city were we in?
Casa della Sol,
Yeah. What
Casa
city?
della Sol in Toluca Lake.
Toluca Lake. Oh, I've been dreaming about that ravioli every day. I've just craved that.
No.
We have some
Oh,
good food.
he's Franco's in business with me. You know that he sits
Yeah.
on my board of Corleone, and he also sits on the board of MJ Licensing, the parent company. But he's a gentleman of gentlemen,
Oh,
and a great chef, and he knows what he's doing. He's had three restaurants, three of the best restaurants,
right.
like 30, 40 years. You don't do that in the restaurant business.
Right. Well, hey, so if you're Italian and eating some Italian food before the month's up to celebrate, I
Oh, yeah, I
seriously,
mean, the three restaurants he has is uh, Casa della Sol. Moonstruck was my favorite restaurant in Malibu on Pacific Coast Highway, and that's still going. And then Sunset is the biggest restaurant there. It's right on Sunset, and where Sunset and PCH meet, that's his restaurant.
well, I have craved that ravioli every single day since we've eaten it. I could, and I'm really bad about if I get something I like, I just kind of stick to it. And I think every day I'm like, oh, if I could just
You
get
know
my,
what I'm going to do? I'm going to call him and tell him to send you frozen and put it in the freezer. Take them out when you need. I'm seriously.
oh, that was fantastic.
I
I'm
know.
telling you, that was so good.
We had about 12 different dishes.
Oh my word.
I love eating like that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So yes, everybody enjoyed the end of the, I don't know, it might, by the time this hits you, it might be November, but you can just have a little throwback to Italian Heritage Month and go a little extra on it because
Oh
I,
yeah.
I don't like a lot of food, but Italian food I love. And that was
I've
good.
noticed how you eat. Your eating habits are atrocious.
I know I've never felt as guilty about it as I did with you guys because you guys are very good eaters. I've really started thinking about it. I thought, okay, it's time to be a grown up, start eating better.
Well,
On
it's
my list.
healthy. At
Yeah,
my age, I want to be healthy.
yeah, I know. It's on my list, on my to-do list, eat better. All right, should we do another quick commercial and then?
Oh yeah, please.
All right.
The next commercial is the one that you helped create, fortunately, and that's at Benjamin's Optical,
Oh, that's right.
and that's going to be the American Dream Mall. I'm going to be there. That's in New Jersey. It's the second largest mall in the world, and it's right next to the Giant Stadium over there.
Oh,
I'll be
wow.
there on Black Friday and Black Saturday from 1 to 7, 6 hours a day. And I'm launching my new eyeglass line, becoming the spokesperson for, out of Italy. And if anybody wants to look it up, it's Luca Celli. These eyeglasses are all handmade. And as I said, I'll be at Benjamin's Optical on Black Friday, Black Thursday. Come, I'm there 6 hours.
Friday and Saturday Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, yep.
That's right. Well, I'm jealous. I those glasses I'm so jealous about. Those handmade.
They're all handmade in Italy.
That's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be signing autographs and stuff like that.
Yeah, if they
right?
could bring their Godfather memorabilia, buy the book online. Fortunately, the hardcovers are no longer around for Giani Russo. Hollywood Godfather. The book has been a bestseller almost 4 years, but now they want to do paperback, and I myself don't like paperback. I collect hardcover books. But buy a book, bring it there, I'll sign it. There'll be other Godfather memorabilia or anything else you have. You know, if you have a book, bring it, I'll sign it.
Oh, I'll tell you what, we had people bringing everything to be signed.
Oh, I know.
Posters that were fantastic.
Well, that's the first time you experienced that. That's why I do them.
Oh my gosh, it's so fun to have people bring in stuff. And we had people that had friends and across the country that were coming in to have this stuff signed, stuff they had saved forever. It was fantastic. But
that's why I like doing those shows. It's really, it's so much fun.
And the people are so happy to meet you, happy to get their stuff signed. It was just fun for me to watch how many people, speaking of touching lives, how many people that were so happy to meet you, to get your signature, get their pictures taken. Like I said, hand you their phone to talk to their best friend or brother, or guess who I'm talking to. I mean, that was a treat. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I can't take the credit for that. It's called a motion picture called The Godfather. That movie has given me so many privileges, and I thank God for it every day, because it's a gift that never stops giving. And you witnessed. I mean, it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. It was fun, but people sure enjoyed it, and it was so fun to be part of. But yeah, so keep in mind, everybody, if you're going to be around the American Dream Mall, go in there, get your stuff, go get an autograph, get a selfie, and meet Giani Russo. It's a lot of fun. Plus,
so I think this has been a great show. I think for the people in the world that didn't know Bobby Darin, I think you'd have a better respect for him now.
Oh, absolutely. I certainly do.
Yeah.
You know, songs I've heard all my life, but I didn't put, it was. I thought Sinatra sang Mack the Night.
Oh, yeah.
I know he did, but
he sang all his songs. It's funny you should say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking as I was watching the little stuff on YouTube and learning about Bobby Darin. I was like, oh, I know that song, but I thought it was Frank's, you know. But yeah, what a great guy, and what an amazing career he had in such a very short time. He condensed it and made the most of it. It's inspirational for sure.
The thing that touched me most of everything, after digesting his whole life, even at death, his will was that he does not want to be buried, cremated, or anything. He wants 100% of his body donated to UCLA Medical Center.
Wow. That's awesome.
He even gave a gift in dying.
That's right.
Well, with that said, to all of you, be careful out there. It's a crazy world we live in.
That's right.
Jeannie, I love you.
Love you too, my dear.
See you soon.
And that was that. But I'll be back.
No regrets, no complaints. Lived a life with no restraints. The little kid they all counted out, proved them all wrong, that's without a doubt. Laying there with my left side numb, 5-year bout with polio, but yes, I won. From standing on corners like how many pens you want, to living in a bakery, then opening my own restaurant. Of course, I had some help along the way, friends like Frank Costello that I miss each and every day. Things from many years ago still resonate.